So moving on to the question 2 from the June 2016 paper for FP3. So this is for the old spec, it's Edexcel, but it's still very useful, and this applies for AQA and Edexcel, so it's just covering today arc lengths. So we've got to find the length of this curve C here, that's given here, and we have to give the answer in the form P plus L and Q, where P and Q are rational numbers to be found. So the first thing you need to be aware of is the formula we're going to use. So I'm going to write it when we get to it, but you need to know this. Now you don't need to memorize it, but you need to be aware of it. It's given in the formula book, so don't worry about memorizing it, like I said. Just make sure you've seen it before. Now, because we're in Cartesian, it's, I'd say it's nicer to work with. So let's start by doing this question. The first thing you should be aware of is that we need to differentiate. We need to differentiate because it's in the formula. So dy by dx, what's that going to be? So that's going to give me x over 4 plus, minus 1 over x. Differentiating this, so that gives us this. Now, this is where we're going to use the formula. So therefore, the length, L, this is equal to this formula. So it's the integral of the square root of 1 plus bracket dy by dx. I'm making this very messy, but hopefully you can see it. dy by dx all squared, and we take the square root of the full expression. So in our case, what's that going to be? So that's going to be the integral of the square root of 1 plus x over 4 minus 1 over x all squared. All squared. Like that. Well, here now you just need to expand this. So this is just a simple expression that you're expanding. It's two brackets, so just expand that. So what you're going to get here when we expand that is we're going to get the integral of the square root of 1 plus x squared over 16. I hope this is clear to see, guys. I am making it quite messy, it's a bit hard here. Minus a half and plus 1 over x squared. So it looks missing, it actually is here at this point. So this is what we've got at the minute. So I'll just simplify the expression underneath the square root. So 1 minus a half is going to clearly be a half. So what we get then is the integral of the square root of x squared over 16 plus a half plus 1 over 2 plus 1 over x squared. So plus 1 over x squared. This should be a dx at the end of this as well, so that's dx. So this is my expression at the minute. Now here, the trickiest bit probably here is recognizing what this is. This is just, we can factorize this here. This is two brackets, right? So what this is actually going to be is, put it here, it's going to be very close to what we had here originally. So it's going to be square root. And then underneath the square root, we're going to have x over 4 plus 1 over x. So it's not minus 1 over x, but plus 1 over x. So plus 1 over x all squared. If you expanded that, you'd get that. And it's very common with these arc length questions, guys, so be very aware of this. This is often a trick that goes into these questions. This should be dx as well. So now how do we work out this? Well, because we're taking the square root of a square, it's just going to be what's left here. So that's going to be the integral of x over 4 plus 1 over x dx. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the limits in here now. So we're working with x between 2 and 3. So my limits are 3 and 2. So these are my limits now, the integral. So 3 and 2. Now we just need to perform this integration, so a nice easy integration. So that's going to give me x squared over 8, x squared over 8, plus ln x, ln x. Now we're working between 3 and 2, so that's what we're going to get. Now what we need to do is actually sub these limits in. Sub the limits in, perform the the correct calculations, and we've got our answer. So that's going to give me 3 squared over 8 plus ln 3. That's one bracket. Minus 2 squared over 8 plus ln 2. Plus ln 2. Perform the correct calculation. So this is 9 over 8 minus 4 over 8. So that's going to give me, when we perform that, 5 over 8. 5 over 8. And then ln 3 minus ln 2. So that's just going to be plus ln 3 over 2. And there we have it, guys. That's all 7 marks. So your P is 5 over 8 and your Q is 1.5 or 3 over 2. And there we go, 7 marks.